everybody, this is Lane, and welcome to another plush battle. I feel like this one has been long overdue since I've had this for a long time. But we are finally doing a plush battle with on the left, the All-Star Collection Yoshi from Sine, and then on the right we have the Super Nintendo World Yoshi. So yeah, so basically in this plush battle I'm going to be going over each detail that both of these Yoshi plushes have, see which one is like the closest to game accuracy, and whichever plush reaches about 10 points wins the plush battle. So yeah, so these two are currently the most game accurate Yoshi plushes that you could probably find. I'm sure there's probably other plushies out there that are no longer being made that are probably more game accurate than these two. But in terms of like the size, like the 9, 10, 11 inch scale, I'd say these two right here are probably the most game accurate that you can find on the market. But only one of them is the most game accurate. So let's find out which one is which. Alright, let's get this out of the way. Paper tag. So obviously if you know me, I'm gonna give that point to the All-Star Collection Yoshi. It's just because it's a unique design that's like character specific. Because with the Super Nintendo World paper tags, the camera could focus, you could see that like they're much generic. They just have like the Super Nintendo World logo, and that's pretty much it. This is what the back looks like. Oh yeah, by the way, this guy retails for 20 bucks. This guy's like $12.99 or $13.99. Unless if you're some sort of like Japanese import shop, and that's like $16 or $17. Alright, now let's move on to the touch tag. So both of these are the American releases of the Sine and Super Nintendo World Yoshi. The All-Star Collection, the Sine tags, they look like this. They're a lot shorter in Japan. And then Super Nintendo World, they have, it's pretty much the exact same touch tag placement. So yeah, if you could see it right there. I find the American touch tags on the Super Nintendo World ones to be like way too big, especially compared to like, let's say, let me get out one of my Japanese Nintendo World ones, because you see how small their touch tags are on the Japanese ones. And yeah, so I'm not sure if I could really give either one of them the point for their touch tags. I know I did that with Mario, Luigi, and Peach. I feel like that was like kind of different. I'd say I'm gonna make this one a draw, just to be a bit more neutral, I guess, for lack of a better word. So yeah, so in terms of touch tags, both plushies will get a point. Alright, let's go over some scaling. I'll move this Yoshi off to the side. So basically, unlike their Mario and Luigi, which have the option to both stand and sit down, Yoshi is only in a sitting position, which I think works when like both of them are sitting down. But yeah, it's kind of harder to tell like if you want to make Mario stand up. But judging by Yoshi's legs, I don't think he might be tall enough to be in scale, because Yoshi is supposed to be, I guess not like the same height as Luigi or anything, but like slightly taller than Mario in a way. And so yeah, and you can already tell that like throughout the video that the All-Star one definitely has a slightly, like, he's probably like a few centimeters tall or something. So I take out the All-Star Yoshi, place him next to the All-Star Mario, and yeah, it's pretty much like the exact same scaling when sitting down. And again, like Yoshi, there's no option for him to stand up or anything. But since the Super Nintendo World Yoshi is slightly taller than the Super Nintendo World one. I definitely do think, the scaling is slightly better on this All-Star one. So the point for scaling goes to the All-Star collection. Alright, now it's time to go over with the overall head proportions. So I already have a figure of Yoshi that I'm gonna use as pretty much as like a reference to like what, how game accurate that these Yoshi plushes are supposed to be. And so far, let's see. Honestly, these are not bad like Yoshi heads, honestly. However, I'm gonna give the point to the All-Star Collection one because I feel like the way it's like proportion looks much more like Yoshi in my opinion. The Super Nintendo World one looks pretty good, but I feel like it's a little too wide. Either that, or maybe it's just some of the Yoshi I got. So here's like a side view, what they look like. You can definitely see that the All-Star one definitely does look a bit more. Well, I don't know. It is kind of hard. It's hard for me to tell since like they're the sides of their heads look pretty much identical. I mean, like, there's some things that look better on Super Nintendo World, but then there's some that look better on the All-Star one. But in terms of, like, the overall construction, I still say that the All-Star one looks better, face-wise. Alright, let's go over his eyes, because, yeah, his eyes look pretty much identical. I don't really see much of a difference, honestly, because like both of them are ntembroidered, and yeah, I'd say the eyes on the Super Nintendo World one is a bit larger, but yeah, I mean, not too much of a difference, honestly. So yeah, I think this one's gonna be another draw. Alright, so the head spikes, both of them have pretty good head spikes, except the one on the Cine one is bigger, while the one on the Super Nintendo World one is smaller. I definitely do think, I do like the shape of the Super Nintendo World one a lot better, but I definitely do think the All-Star one has a much more correct size, at least like judging by like the various artwork of Yoshi I looked at, and as well as the action figure that I have. So yeah, I'm gonna give the head spikes to the All-Star collection. Anyways, for Yoshi's nose, I'd say they both look pretty good in the front view, but for the side view, you could definitely tell that. Hold on, let me rearrange All-Star. So yeah, you could definitely tell that the Super Nintendo World one is definitely he definitely has a much taller nose, but the All-Star one has a much wider nose. So which one's more game accurate, I'd say? I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, both of them do like look fine. I definitely am more. I'd say I'm concerned about the length of his nose than the height of his nose. So yeah. So I'm gonna give the point for the nose to All-Star Collection. All right. So for the nostrils, Yoshi's nostrils on the All-Star one are black, and on the Super Nintendo World one, they're a much darker green. Which one is more game accurate? I mean, I'd say both of them are fine with like either color. But personally, I'm going to give that point to the Super Nintendo World Yoshi. I just really like the dark green nostrils more. Alright, so just for a quick intermission, I just want to go over how many points these plushies have so far. So far, the Cine All-Star Collection Yoshi has 7 points, while the Super Nintendo World Yoshi has 3 points. So this is definitely a surprising twist, considering that the Super Nintendo World plushies won in my previous videos. But who knows, like maybe the Super Nintendo World Yoshi will catch up in more points. But who knows, we'll just have to find out. Alright, now let's go over the overall body proportions, because a lot of people criticize the All-Star Collection Yoshi for being fat, which I kind of don't understand. I mean, I can understand I'm preferring a much slimmer body like in the older Sine plushies, but I mean, Yoshi has always been a pretty wide character to begin with. If you look at the renders and everything, he's always been a pretty, you know, a pretty chunky boy. And honestly, I think the All-Star Collection, I'm kind of translated the overall chunkiness of Yoshi's body accurately well. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that he's actually wide. It actually makes him a lot more game accurate for that reason. And the Super Nintendo World Yoshi is also pretty wide too, but I feel like they made him a bit too wide. Or at least on the copy of the plush that I have. But yeah, I definitely do think the All-Star one definitely has a better looking body, so I'm going to give that point to the All-Star Yoshi. Alright, let's look at the arms, because... Actually, no, I think that's a bad... So yeah, so... I find the Super Nintendo World Yoshi to be like way too thick. And the All-Star one, it definitely looks a lot better. Yoshi does have huge hands, so I can kind of see why they made the Super Nintendo World one a bit thicker. But I don't know, it doesn't really look quite as nice. I'd say my overall criticism with both plushies is that like they have like really short arms. I feel like their arms should be a bit longer. But which one is better looking? I'd say the All-Star Yoshi. So I'm going to give the point for All-Star Yoshi for having slightly better arms. Here's a closer look at their shells. Overall, I say the overall proportions on both shells are pretty good. But I'm going to give the point to the Super Nintendo World Yoshi. I just really like him the way, you know, that his shell looks a lot more. So yeah, so the point for the shell goes to Super Nintendo World. Alright, so for the legs... I definitely do like the way the legs look on the Super Nintendo World Yoshi. I think they're big and plump enough. The All-Star one looks fine, but you can definitely tell that like it's not quite as bigger looking. And I mean Yoshi has like pretty big thighs, so I'd say I'm gonna give that point to the Super Nintendo World Yoshi. Now the shoes, this one's gonna be pretty tough because I like the boot cuff on the Super Nintendo World one more because it has like more depth to it, unlike the All-Star one where it's like just like a strap, pretty much. I also like the color on the Super Nintendo World one a lot better because on the All-Star one it looks pretty faded. But the one thing that the All-Star one does have more is that I think the leg proportions look a bit much closer to the games. Just to make things easier on myself, let's just call it a draw. So it looks like the All-Star Collection Yoshi made it up to 10 points, but I'm not going to be done roasting the Super Nintendo World one yet because let's go over more details. So the tail. You can see that Yoshi's tail has like a curve to it on the All-Star one, which is game accurate, while the one on my Super Nintendo World Yoshi does not. I'm sure there's probably other Super Nintendo World Yoshis out there that probably do have a curve to it, but mine doesn't, so I'm going to give the point to All-Star Yoshi. And not only that, but which one of these plushes comes in multiple colors? And it will be the All-Star one. They do sell merchandise for the different colored Yoshis at Super Nintendo World, but I don't think there's any variants of this particular Yoshi in different colors. Whereas the All-Star Collection, you can pretty much get every single Yoshi color imaginable. So I'm going to give All-Star Yoshi a point for having color compatibility. And one more thing to point out, Yoshi is a dinosaur. He doesn't seem that fluffy looking. He seems pretty smooth. And so I'm gonna give one more point for the All-Star Collection Yoshi because even though I do like the furriness of the Super Nintendo World Yoshi, the All-Star one's less fluffy appearance actually makes it more game accurate. Sorry, Super Nintendo World Yoshi, you are only able to reach 5 points, which means that the winner of the Yoshi Plush battle with 13 points is the All-Star Collection Yoshi Plush from Sine. in my past plush battles, I mean, you can definitely see, how great of the plushies, Super Nintendo World has them to offer. They're they're definitely a bit pricier, than SNES plushies, but they're just really high quality, and I feel like they do the characters a lot more justice. However, in Yoshi's case, it seems to be the one exception, because I think it's still a bit more game accurate, because not only do I think it has just overall like better proportions, but I think it has like multiple different colors. It's not as fluffy as the Super Nintendo World one is, and overall it's just still a really nice looking Yoshi plush. He's widely available. Like you could find him in places like Target and Walgreens, depending on if they have them or not. And you can also find them at import shops too. He's much more widely available and much cheaper to get. At Super Nintendo World, their smaller plushes cost $20. Again, I'm sure there's other Yoshi plushies out there that are probably more like game accurate than this SNES one, but he's still a really nice looking Yoshi plush if you want like a really nice looking one. And he also still scales with the Super Nintendo World plushies as well. So if you don't have the Super Nintendo World Yoshi, you can just use a regular All-Star Yoshi, and he'll scale just fine. And you can have like Mario writing on him, and yeah. So overall, I hope you enjoyed this Yoshi plush battle. Let me know in the comments which Yoshi you prefer. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure to ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on any videos that I produce. I'll see you real soon. Same Yoshi time, same Yoshi channel.